All right. Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday. It's July 26th, and we are just coming off convention doing our team training and excited to share with some people that were not able to be at a convention with us some of the excitement for those of us that were there, just to kind of regroup and talk about what happened there and what's new and exciting, what do we need to put in place right away, and what do we need to be looking forward to. So I just thought we'd take a few minutes before we start and just kind of recap. And you guys see Barb, that's dedication. That's Barb.
Look at that.
That is dedication. So I thought we'd go through and just kind of talk about a lot of people, it was their maybe second convention. Some of us have been more often. A few people were their first convention. So I just thought we'd take a second and maybe talk about our biggest takeaways. And excuse me, if somebody was watching for the first time, as a newer health coach, what would be your advice to them when they're thinking about their future and attending events? So, Jonathan, I thought we might start with you just because it was you and Lisa's second year to be there. So maybe a little bit about what was different and what you enjoyed about it.
I think what was probably different for us, and I think you said it best when you told us last year for us was shock and awe. And that was kind of where we were last year. And this year was a little bit of confirmation that we were in the right place, and kind of an awakening of things that were giving us pause. I would say, I probably had three top takeaways, and they're all kind of similar. But the biggest one, and I'm sure lots of people heard it because I heard it more than once, was to get out of your own way. And we've spent a decent amount of time in our own way, in our minds. And that probably my biggest takeaway. And then, some of the other things that we've brought home and we're trying to put into action is to always invite. Some people are just waiting for us to invite them. They're not going to come to us. They're waiting for us to ask them. And then the other thing, and probably one of the other big things was, and I think it might have been Gina Eccles that said it, was, who are you to decide what's good or not good for someone else? And so when we prejudge people in our mind, and I know I'm guilty of that, going, oh, this isn't something that would interest them, or this business opportunity wouldn't interest them. Who am I to decide that? And that probably the biggest couple of things that we brought home.
Yeah, I totally agree. Lisa, anything to add with that from your perspective? Anything different or shifted as you're looking forward, to this week and going forward?
That was the main thing, to always invite. Since we've got back, we've touched bases with people that were interested and kind of, well, let me put it on the side for a while. If they weren't ready now, we just said, we're here for you. So we're just trying to keep in touch with those that are on our heart.
Mm-hmm. I heard an interesting story when you said about always invite and then let them make the decision. I do what I always advise you guys to do, is to ask, questions. And one of the first questions I always ask people when I meet them is, how'd you find Optavia? What brought you to it? And then the follow-up question is usually how quickly did you start coaching, or what made you decide to coach? But one of the first people I met, I asked her, and she said, well, my daughter's in Girl Scouts. And she said, and I noticed this one woman lose weight, and she lost weight like really rapidly, and she looked incredible. And she goes, it was like 100 pounds she dropped in 6 months. And she said, and I told her, I'm like, oh my gosh, you look great, and whatever. And the girl goes, great, well, thanks. I feel amazing. And that's all she said. So she said she just let it be, and she didn't think about it twice. And then a couple of months later, somebody else was down like 40 pounds, like in the same Girl Scout troop, another mom. And she said something to her, and she goes, oh my God, I've been doing this fabulous program. In fact, I'm a coach now. And if you'd like to hear about it, I'd love to share. And it turned out that first person was also a coach, but she had not opened her mouth to, and said, invited her to learn more. So, several months went by, and she ended up going to somebody else, to do it, because those two people they were both, separate coaches. So it's just a good reminder to me just to always invite. So that was good. Well, thank you. Debbie, how about you, since it was also your second event or third event? That's right, third. So you're becoming very, very experienced. So we'll hear with different ears.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that really resonated with me, and it was along the same lines of what the Penny Packers are saying, how they're saying, don't discriminate, don't prejudge, don't pre-qualify, was the line that I think J.C. Dornick said, but somebody said that everyone wants to be happier, healthier, and wealthier, or some combination of those three. There's not anybody who's like, yep, I'm exactly where I want to be in every area. So our job then is to listen to people and find out where they are and what they're lacking, and then present based on what it is that they need, because fortunately we do offer something that addresses all three of those. So that thing. And then there was a lot about like cultivating coaching seeds. So you're pre-qualifying not only just clients, but people who would maybe be interested in coaching. And a few of the things, I'm not going to list everything, but a few of the things that I thought were really good were, you want to awaken your clients to coaching. So like basically at every little, not, that you're shoving things down their throat, but just a little drip, drip, drip. So when you're talking to them, in any little encounter, whether it's a celebration call or just a weekly coaching session, that you're kind of laying that foundation of what coaching is. And then also just establishing that this is a good match for what, first of all, that you jive, your personality with them. And then also what is it that they need? Because perhaps coaching would be a benefit to them, or it could improve their life in some way. So that I liked. And the thing that that kind of connected, or like finally just made sense, was when someone did the sower and the seeds parable, which we've all heard in church, like probably once a year for all the years of our lives. But it was just, those who haven't, there's a parable about the sower, the farmer is out casting seeds out into his field, and some of the seeds land in the field, but some land, out on the road, and some land in rocky ground. And so the ones that land on the road, obviously those seeds don't do well. They just kind of wither and die, or dry up and die. And the seeds that land in like the rocky or the sandy place, they grow, they do something, but they don't have deep roots, and so they aren't viable plants. And so they start, but they don't really come to full plants. And then of course there are plenty that land in the field and they flourish. And so that analogy put with the coaching is basically to say, go ahead and cast as many seeds as you can, because you don't know which ones are going to land where. And so you want to, the more you put out, the more seeds you put out, the better chance you have of having a beautiful, bountiful crop, essentially. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, that's really good. I love that parable, that analogy, and that was one of my biggest takeaways. Is what I'm seeing with the organization and the company is, coaches entering the business very early in their journey. As early as 2 or 3 weeks. Carol Hibbs, the one that went presidential director in 10 months. I mean, during a 70-pound weight loss, became a health coach at week 4. And so I think that's an opportunity for us, and we'll do more training on this. I think it's really an opportunity that when we go to a convention and we meet 4,000 people, who a big percentage of them that came in early into the business, I think it's probably just a missed opportunity, or like you said, it's just planting more and more of those seeds, and more people will say yes. And I mean, this is, we know, changing their lives. So that's excellent. And I'd love to hear from, let's see, Beth, you were amazing. You flew out there for Thursday evening and Friday day. And so you only got a taste of it, but tell us, I'll unmute you, or you unmuted. Tell us, are you glad you went? Was it worth it?
Oh, definitely worth it. I can't wait for next year, and I will be there the whole time next year. The thing that impressed me the most, besides the whole rebranding, which is phenomenal, was that everything that I learned in my coaching events was everything that you had said. So everything, it was they want to stress duplicity, that or whatever, replicating. That so everybody knows that it is easy, and then that you can do it too. That you have a coach that will walk beside you and help you along your way. So everything that you said to me is what they said. So thank you for that.
Well, good. I mean, and anything I've ever learned, believe me, that there's that power of duplication, right? I'm just doing what other people are doing. So I'm not, creating anything new. It's not that I have anything special. I'd be more frightened if you said you went there and heard things you'd never heard before, So, but we usually all get a couple new nuggets to walk away with. So that's good. So that's just reinforcement. And again, probably that emphasis on the simplicity and being duplicatable,
Yes.
so because this is not difficult. I mean, in terms of how much time it takes and whatnot. And as Jonathan and Lisa said, it usually just the hardest part is what's going on in our head.
Exactly.
Yeah. So awesome.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Excellent. Thank you. And how about you, Linda? Your first year there. I unmuted you.
Yeah, okay. I actually really enjoyed the general sessions. I was really impressed at how much the leadership of the company really seems to have it together. It was, and I really enjoyed that mapping out of, the road that everyone's gone down over the years and the changes. And I had heard that story once before when I went to that Philadelphia event with Dr. A, but it was kind of cool to see it again and, have the whole story be told. So, I thought that was really good. I had a really good feeling I've said this before about the company. I just think I like the culture. I like that it's really just a feeling of who can we help. And that makes me feel good about being a part of this. I really enjoyed meeting our team. It was great to get to meet everyone. And I've said this before to Dee that I felt a little far away I feel like you guys are all down south, and you're all not next door to each other. We've got Sherry in Florida, we have people in Charlotte and people in Atlanta, so it's not like you're all hanging out every Tuesday night together, but I felt like the one Yankee up here, super far away from everyone, and I don't feel so far away anymore. So that's kind of a good thing. I did everything you said, Dee. I talked to everyone. I asked questions from everyone, and I made a bunch of new friends, and that was a really cool thing. And the workshops were good too. Just the kind of going over the same things that we've learned before, awakening the why, which is really good. One thing I thought was interesting, in one of the workshops, they talked about learning how to tell your story. And it's not that you're going to change your story, because your story is your story, but maybe learning how to tailor the high points depending on who you're talking to. What's going to be the most interesting to them, or what's something that's going to hit home the most to that person that maybe could be relatable to what you've been through. So overall, I thought it was a great experience. I'll be there next year and looking forward to that.
Heard you already had your roommate lined up as well. So
exactly.
Speaking of which, how about you, Sherry? I'll unmute you. You glad you went?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My takeaways are pretty much what everybody else has already said. First of all, Dee, I felt pretty much like the proverbial deer in the headlights when I first got there. And wow, 4,000 people was just mind-blowing to me that we're all in this together and on the same journey is pretty cool. And really wanting to reach out and share this program with other people. Thoroughly enjoyed meeting everybody. I took your advice for anybody else who's never been. Just talk to everybody. You can just be a sponge, absorb everything. The general sessions were so fun and so inspiring and motivational, not just as someone who wants
Well,
to
hello,
be
everybody. This is
successful
Greg
coaching, but
Blanchett,
also just
optimal health coach, and I am here to talk to you
Hello?
and show you about the new.
Hold on.
is that me?
That was weird. Okay.
That was weird. Anyway, it was just all very, very inspirational. A lot of good takeaways. Like everybody else, my biggest one is just to get out of my own way. That is my number one biggest problem, that fear factor. So hoping I can just, as Debbie said, throw out the seeds and get some to grow, and just really reach out and help everybody. I'm really excited to see what I can do with everything.
Awesome.
And I too have my roommate lined up. She knows who she is.
Very good. So I like what you said though about, getting out of your own way. And when we come out of a convention, it's an exhilarating experience. There's a lot of adrenaline. We're excited. And so then the challenge then becomes, how do you take that experience and then you butt up against real life, right? So you go back to life, and how do you do all that? So Susan and Julie, if I'll unmute Julie first. Any tips you can offer? Just have about 30 seconds each, but like any tips you can offer about how do you put this in place and keep it and put it into action?
Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, Ellen.
Okay. Way to put me on the spot there. How do you put it into action? It's funny. It's very much like getting out of your own way. Don't think about it. Just do it. Find some people. If somebody comes up in your head that you've been thinking about, just contact them. Just start getting into action, and then you're going to know things are going to come out of the woodwork that from left field, from right field, things that you didn't even know were out there. So I definitely think just start. Just don't think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't stop. And one of the things I really liked, and somebody else pointed up, was know your story. Know a small, little tagline, but know your story. It's not just very much like people have the diet mindset. They have the "you're selling me something" mindset. So just realize that, we're out there giving a gift, and ask questions. We did one workshop where we practiced that. We spent 1 minute asking the person next to you questions. Get in the habit of starting to listen and ask questions, and just don't even think about it. Just do it, and don't be fearful, because you know what? It's going to come about. But if we, just get rid of the fear, nothing bad's going to happen. Just do it. That's my piece of advice.
What's the worst that happens if they're not interested right now? And so I heard both you and Debbie mention, ask questions, listen, find out what their need is. So real good advice. And how about you, Julie? Because that was your third convention, and now even hearing it with different ears, now you're also coaching coaches. So what can you pass along? What words of wisdom?
I think the biggest thing is just be in action, and it's already been 2-3 days, and using social media, I think, was one of the biggest things I took away too, is how teams have kept it really, really simple, and they lean on their teams and they use social media, and it's just like mushrooms because of the power of social media. So I think we all can take more advantage of that and use each other and lean on each other more. So also investing in your coaches, spending time. I thought one of the couples, I think it was the Tinters or the Valentine, said is, we've all, if you're a senior coach, you've made it to senior coach. Next, you're going to help somebody do the same thing. So don't be intimidated about coaching others, because all you're doing is helping them do what you've already done. So I thought that was really simple and powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, right? So your first clients, you're teaching them how to do the 5 and 1, which you did, right? And you did that. So you just show somebody how to do it when you're a coach. And then once you're a senior coach, now you've brought on clients in the coaching role, so you can now be there to train. So it's just that duplication. So very good. And we'll talk about this in a few minutes when we get to the end of the call, but we are going to be doing ongoing training as a team, starting even as early as next week, with these practical action steps. So next week's will be on what Julie was talking about with making connections with people, building our relationships, and using the various tools in order to do that. So that will be next week. So we're really going to take this and help you put it into practice effectively. So yeah, thanks to you guys for all your feedback on that. I just wanted to roll through a few things that were pretty key that came out of it. I mean, number one, we know we're fully Optavia now, and that is really exciting. And you can go to optavia.com if you want, and you can even send somebody to that page. It's got that really great 3.5-minute video that really is the good synopsis of what we represent. And so those tools are out there. Little bit of growing pains. We'd also have to be patient as we're going through that transition. So that transition on our website, the transition of the back office. So right now there's a little bit, you're seeing Optavia, you're seeing Take Shape for Life, but just trust that the powers that be they're working hard. And even today, from this morning to this afternoon, I saw a bunch more things show up in the back office. So we do have the reformulated fuelings. This past Monday, they were available for 22 new fuelings and 2 new snacks. So for every coach here, this is a great opportunity to finish July strong. Anytime we have new products, reach out to your clients, reach out to them personally, your former clients. Hey, I just wanted to check in with you. You could send them the new Optavia video. And just wanted to let you know we have some new, new formulated products. You might want to try it. And, and just watch the magic start to happen. But it takes that personal connection. They probably got an email from the company, but they probably didn't pay attention to it. So hopefully that will help you to finish strong. They also, with these new products, they updated the Essentials Kit. We always order the Optavia Essentials Kit, so they have updated it with a new, bigger variety of the products. So that's super exciting. A couple of things I wanted to point out that I've learned. The name of the Be Slim program will be changing. I noticed on the website it's still Be Slim, so I'm not going to go too much into that at this point. But one thing I learned that went into place this week, if you were not aware, the company is not doing exchanges anymore for clients. If you've ever been through an exchange with a client, it takes forever. By the time they call, they send it back. They process that return, then they return it back. So what they're trying to do in the home office and in client support is they're really just trying to give superior service as quick as possible and as efficient as possible. So what they're doing now, so I just want you to be aware so you don't say, hey, you can exchange it, and then they call client support and they say, we don't do exchanges. So what they do now is if somebody says that they want to exchange, they automatically will send them 2 new boxes of food for free. No strings attached. So to help buy them some time, okay, what do you want? And I send them, and I saw that happen twice today with 2 of my clients. And then what they're asking is that the client return their existing product that they don't want anymore, and to go ahead and place the order for the replacements that they want. So they've also committed, and this is in the terms and conditions, and you'll see it in a minute when I take it to the back office. They've also committed that when they get that return, that they will process that return within 48 hours. So the client has their money back in their account. So just wanted to be aware. I'm sure there'll probably be a more written notification, but it was a surprise to me when I got a call from a client that said they don't do returns anymore. We are very, very excited that there is a new health coach kit that is available, an Optavia health coach kit. It is so slick. I might be able to show you when we get to the back office, but they're changing our organization system, the intake form, everything is being very simplified. So it is being encouraged that for a new health coach that you bring on board, that kit is still $199. The big change is that kit will arrive for a new health coach now within 48 hours, and there gets free shipping. And in fact, I placed my order today for the existing health coach kit and a bunch of business supplies, the new brochures and all that, and it was all free shipping. So I think that's great that they're doing that for us. But it is recommended that every health coach get the new system, the new health coach kit. They're offering that as a discount if you're an existing coach for $95. And the reason for that is that, one, we want everybody to be working from the same system, but when you have a new health coach come on board under you, you'll have what they have, so it makes it so you can say, pull out this, or, show them how to set it up. So it should be much more efficient than the current system. So that is very exciting. And when you get to the back office, I'll also show you the new client intake form, which is really good. And then it's silly, but it makes a difference. All the packaging, when our clients get their orders now, like their food and everything, it's all very slick. It's not just a brown box. It's a beautiful brown box with the Optavia symbol, and it says Optavia. So just really, really making ourselves known, and it's just great, you know, just a great message, and always getting the name of the company out there. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to hope that this works, just so that you guys can go back on your own when you have a little more time and look at this. And then we're also going to go over more of this together in the coming weeks. All right, can you guys see my screen? Julie?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to resources, and if you hover there, you'll see there's a new tab called Optavia Answers. All right, so I'm gonna click on that. And can you guys see this screen that came up? Yes? Okay, cool. So Optavia Answers is our new like back office resource section, and it's where we're gonna find most of our documents, our tools, information about upcoming events, and all sorts of things. And because of time limitations, I'm not gonna be able to go through every section of it, but I encourage you in the next, 24, 48 hours, make a note to go back here and do some searching around. The one that is going to be very applicable is the business support page. And in the business support page, there's really two sections. There's the new document library and business tools. I just wanted to show you quickly under the document library that there's all sorts of great things back here, and we have new program guides available. Not only do we have like the 5-in-1 program guide, but we have a 4-2-in-1 program, a 3-in-3 guide. If you wanted to get more of the new health assessment form, this is the new client intake form. You can download it, print it. Let's see. So lots of stuff, all your program guides are here. So this is really going to start to be our central section. The new return policy is listed there and that sort of thing. So that's a lot of fun. And also under business tools, and this is what I thought you might want to look at, there is new Optavia apparel that's available. So if you want to purchase anything, that's actually a separate link. But if you want to purchase anything, Optavia shirts, hats, water bottles, coffee cups, that stuff's there. And they also have business cards available for very reasonable. Optavia business cards, it's like 250 business cards for $15 and a really quick turnaround. So if you want to have a branded card, that's a really great thing to do.
So Dee, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So a question popped up somewhere I read, because we looked at that, and the question was on our co-branded websites. Are they planning on changing the .tsfl.com? So when does that impact the cards?
Great. Giseline, you want to answer that? Because you had done some questioning on that.
Yeah, I called, Field First, and asked them about that, and they were told me that the URL is going to stay the same until the end of the year. And then by the end of the year, the beginning of next year, they are going to have a new URL, which would be the TSFL, .com. So it's going to stay the same until the end of the year.
Did they mention if they do auto forwarding at that point?
No, they did not mention that.
I would think they would. I mean, if you may think about it, are you asking like if somebody went to the .tsfl, will it automatically go to the new? My guess is going to be yes. Okay. Any questions on any of that so far?
One thing is, what website do we want to direct people to put on the cards?
It's always a personal choice. I mean, we are independent business owners, so it's always a personal choice if you want to put your full website address. I tend to not put my full website address on things because I'd rather have a conversation with somebody. If I met somebody and gave them a card, I'd rather them not go and be able to look at the food and all that and look at pricing. I'd rather have the conversation first. So I tend to use the Explore page, which is your website address, and then it's a /Explore, and it has a couple of videos. The other option, and I think Susan was going to do this, we all have a non-branded option. It's basically your website name /iChooseOptimalHealth.com. And if you want, write that down and go look at it. And that is a very generic site. And then basically they'll, we have a health coach, a fueling system, and whatever. And then a section for them to fill it out if they want more information. So that's a really good one too. It's kind of long, but it's a good one to put on a card.
Dee, what thoughts around maybe just using the new generic Optavia splash page with the video and an email address?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, that's a great idea to just put that there. I mean, I had even, I just use a generic card. I just have one I have through Vistaprint. I mean, I might change to the new Optavia, but I just have one I did a while ago through Vistaprint with my picture on it. And it just says, certified health coach and business coach. And, and then my phone number and my email. You don't even have a website on it. So there's lots of different options, what you want to do with it. And we can have some individual conversations around it if you want.
Just one quick question. Our name tags, the certified health coach, are those can we order those? I didn't see that on there.
Yeah, that's a great question. That had crossed my mind at one point too. I'm not sure about that, what the plan is, but I can ask Susan if she knows. Okay, so just a couple of upcoming dates to let you guys know. I really try to keep these at 30 minutes because I know that it's late and we're all busy. So regional events. If you live in the Atlanta area, we are doing a regional event, which is going to be a client event and a health coach event on Saturday, August 19th. And we'll have details on that. They're going to be from 9 to 12. The Charlotte folks are having a regional event on the same day. And Julie will be posting a flyer on that. The big one is the Optavia convention for 2018 is up, and we're super excited. I want you to go ahead and mark the dates on your calendar, because if we know in advance, we can just work everything around it, right? So we know we're going, we work around it. The dates for that are July 19th to the 22nd, 2018, and it's in St. Louis. And Larry looked it up, and it's just like a block from the big arch and all that downtown. So on the river. So that'll be fun. And they're offering early bird pricing. So it's $199 a person. And they used to do that. It was like one-day pricing. It was available like on the Saturday of the past convention, and you had to make your decision and do it. But they're giving us until August 31st for that $199. And then like any event, of any company, that price will continue to grow over time. The cool thing is that when you bring on a new health coach to your team, they are going to offer the $199 pricing to a new health coach, to a new health coach, and to any guest or a client. So, we had, I think, 347 clients at this event. That number will grow, so you can be thinking about inviting people. But when you have a new health coach come on, you can start talking to clients about it already so they can plan, but it will always be $199 for them, anybody who came on, from this point forward before the event. Just a couple other things to be aware of. It'll come up, and we'll probably have more trainings available. There's going to be an incentive in the month of August, kind of a cashback award for when we bring on new health coaches in the month of August. And it looked like it was an incentive for both. You would benefit and the person you brought on. The other thing that's really exciting is the incentive trip for 2018. It's going to be at an all-inclusive resort in the Dominican Republic. I think it's 3 nights, all-inclusive for 2 people, and 4 days, 3 nights. And those dates are May 6th through the 10th. And they just listed the qualifications. They are in Coach Connection, if you want to look that up. And then another one, the next big event that the company has, and I bring this up just because as you work with your business coach, you want to be working towards this in terms of making sure you qualify. But our next event would be Go Global on a larger company scale. Go Global is a leadership event for the ranking of executive director and higher. And they just have a parameters around that when you have to qualify. And that event is in April of next year, but the qualification period will begin in the fall. So we'll have more info on all of that. So, but you know, I just think it's good to know what's coming so you can get it on the calendar. So I mentioned at the beginning of the call, because we have a team that, you know, everybody is here is really wanting to grow. So thank you guys for showing up and those that attended convention, but we're all looking to make a difference with our business. And so we want to, you know, the executive directors and we got together and we really want to provide the leadership and training for you to really have practical training moving forward. So we're going to offer training every week, Thursdays at 8 p.m. for just our team. And, you know, our executive directors, Julie, Vicki, myself, Debbie, like we'll be leading those trainings. And we'd love your feedback on what you would like. Okay, so you can post that in our team page on types of things that you'd like us to cover. But this means now we have a lot going on every week. So if you want to prioritize your week and the trainings and availabilities, this would be my recommendation. Dr. A does a leadership call 30 minutes every Monday at 8 p.m. Every leader in our company is on that call and has been since early in their business. So I really recommend that you attend. That's always your weekly priority. If you can't be there Mondays at 8, watch the replay. But if you watch the replay, schedule it on your calendar. Otherwise, the week will pass by and it won't happen. But if you can get on, even us in Atlanta, we've moved our Monday night events earlier so we can get on the call on our way home. The second thing I would recommend would be this team call. All right, so your Thursdays at 8. That's going to give you, we're always talking about what are you going to learn that's going to move the dial forward, that's going to, move your business forward. So that would be second. Susan Palace's calls will continue on Tuesday nights. She's got a lot of health coaches that aren't in our group. She is well aware that our team is doing these separate and said if you want to continue to get on hers, that's great, but don't feel obligated. Okay, so that's just going to be your personal choice if you still want to get on the Tuesday night call. The Wednesday night Habits of Health calls, they're always great, but you could always listen to those on podcast or recording later. But just be aware of what's out there so that you can direct your clients to it. And that's it. Every now and then we have a trilogy call or something else that the company offers, and we'll fit those in as needed. But does that help you guys kind of knowing what to do? Good. Because we don't want you in meetings all the time. We want you out talking to people. That's what we want. Well, good. Thanks for showing up. Any parting questions or anything before we close out? All right.
One more thing that J.C. Dornick said at the end of his little spiel on the day that he talked. He said, the world needs something amazing to happen. I'm thinking, let's go save the world. So I like that as a parting thought.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go save the world. You guys are amazing. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.